It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital. It could be the capital. I don't know. But in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and this is CarEdge Live for Wednesday, November 20th, with your host, me, Ray, and, well, Zach. And as I just informed Zach prior to airtime, it's Uncle Kenny's birthday today.
Happy
Yay,
birthday
Uncle
to
Kenny.
my uncle, to your brother. Folks, we're going to be talking about the worst auto loan crisis ever. Before we do, today's show is brought to you by our sponsor, Delete Me. We're going to be talking about them in about 5 minutes. Link in the top of the description down below. We thank Delete Me for sponsoring CarEdge Live and by CarEdge.com. Dad, if anyone's in the market to buy a new or used vehicle, check it out, CarEdge.com. We have all of the resources you need to get the best deal when you go to buy a new vehicle. Dad, auto loan delinquencies are getting bad. We have got new data that has come out that demonstrates and shows that car loan delinquency is at the highest level it's been in a long time, worse than actually before the pandemic, worse than during the Great Recession. I'll pull those numbers up in just a moment, but you can't be too shocked to see here that we've got bad auto loan delinquency data. We've been talking about this story for months now.
Yeah, but bear in mind that the bad auto loan delinquency rates are with subprime, not prime, and subprime represents a much smaller percentage of auto loans than just about any group of auto loans. But that doesn't mean it's a good thing that subprime loans are defaulting at a higher rate than they have in quite some time. It just means that these subprime lenders are placing bets for the long term that if they make enough profit initially on the loan, that overall they'll make enough profit even with all the delinquencies.
Here's your chart, folks, going up and to the right. Auto loan delinquencies, 90 days plus delinquent. We just have billions and billions of dollars in auto loans that have gone delinquent, Dad. And the total balance of auto loans continues to rise. So you've got a bigger pie and a bigger portion of it actually going delinquent. You can see here we're up to almost $1.7 trillion in outstanding auto loans, which in the grand scheme of things isn't too huge. What is mortgages, Dad? It's like, 13 trillion or something like that.
I don't
know.
It's still, like 10 times. It's like 10 or 11 times what car loans are. So
exactly. So, but it's still a massive amount of money. And the auto loan delinquency rate there is the highest we've pretty much ever seen. Like, as far as the data goes, Cox Automotive, the New York Fed, whoever's tracking it, they're all demonstrating and showing how bad things are getting. And to your point about subprime, Dad, I'm going to come down here. They've got an analysis. This is from WolfStreet.com. That Wolf Street has an analysis here of America's Car Mart. This is one of those companies that does subprime auto lending, and they are struggling mightily. We've tracked on this channel not only America's Car Mart, we've also talked about various other, Credit Acceptance Corporation, for example, various other subprime lenders. Like, they are losing money hand over fist right now because they have to write off so many of those auto loans as loan loss provisions, loans they never anticipate even getting back.
Well, that's part of the gamble when you're in the subprime market. So they knew that going in, and it's all factored in. So right now it's probably a little worse than what they had anticipated. But these things can swing pretty quickly in the opposite direction. So yes, there's a concern there. But we also know that recently there has been an uptick in banks being a tad bit more aggressive in who they're lending money to and how much money they're willing to lend. They're trying to get more loans on the books for 2024. So, the tightening of credit is that we had seen happening over the past 2 or 3 months is now loosening again, as these lenders are chasing a greater percentage of the auto market out there, and they're willing to make loans that perhaps they wouldn't have been willing to make in the past. So,
yeah,
will there be another great collapse at some point in time? Well, the one thing that I've learned in 73 years is that typically human beings as a group don't really learn from history. History tends to repeat itself.
Yep.
So if we don't learn from history, then yeah, the likelihood exists that at some point, sooner perhaps rather than later, we could see ourselves in a situation like the Great Recession of 2008.
At
I
least
hope
for
not.
the auto industry, Dad. Again, I'll put the historical data up here, and this shows the dichotomy between subprime and prime
Yes.
delinquency rates. Look at the chart on the screen, folks. This is going all the way back to the early 1990s, mid 1990s. Okay, 1994. Auto loan delinquency rates, 60 days without paying your auto loan, rose to 6% back in, it looks like 1996, 1997. Look where we are right about now, Dad. Subprime auto loan delinquency rates are getting closer to 6.5%. So no matter how far back you look in this perspective, you can see that auto loan delinquency rates for subprime borrowers is through the roof. And it comes after a period of time where it was crashing in a downward manner, where subprime auto loan delinquency rates were as low as they've ever been, because obviously that was during the pandemic. There was money coming out. Prime auto loan delinquency rates are still quite low. They're ticking up, but not significantly. So
They're
it's
negligible. You know,
yeah, they're negligible.
prime loan delinquencies are negligible. They're next to nothing in comparison to the entire market. But
Yeah.
subprime is a tad bit of a concern. And as I've been doing all morning, there could be a sneeze in my future soon.
All right. Well, while Pops goes to sneeze, we'll take a moment here and thank our sponsor for today's broadcast, Delete Me. A friendly reminder to everyone in our community that there are data brokers out there selling your information online, and anyone, literally anyone, can buy it. Things like your phone number, your social security number, your home address, all of that information and more are sold online. They're available to marketers, scammers, and everyone in between. Delete Me, the sponsor of today's show, helps you take control over your data. Delete Me removes your personal information from hundreds of data brokers on your behalf. And for the CarEdge community, we have a 20% off coupon. The code is CarEdge. Just go to joindeleteme.com/CarEdge to learn more and to get started. And Dad, I use Delete Me. Okay. Delete Me has reviewed over 18,000 listings with my information from 179 data brokers every single month. They are pulling my information off the interwebs so that I am not getting as much spam, as much fraud, things like that. So again, a tremendous thank you to our sponsor of today's show, joindeleteme.com/CarEdge.
And if they could delete my sneezes, that would be better yet. But I use Delete Me.
Dad, I am curious what you think. All right. So we obviously have subprime auto loan delinquency rates at the highest level we've seen since the early 1990s. And at the same time, we have negative equity levels that have never been higher. We've published research on this. Edmunds has published research on this. Wall Street Journal has picked up on that. Everyone is picking up on the fact that there is a tremendous amount of negative equity. Do you think, Dad, there are people out there that are just going to say, F it, I'm going to take the hit on my credit. I'm going to walk away from my car. You brought up Great Recession. That's what happened, right? During the Great Recession, people just walked away from their homes. Is that going to happen here for cars, Dad? Because again, the research that we found was 46% of EV drivers are upside down on their auto loan right now. Nearly 1 in 3, 31% of all Americans are upside down on their auto loans. And Edmunds provide the data on how significant that negative equity is. 20% of the people that have negative equity are upside down $10,000 or more on that auto loan. So do you think these two variables are going hand in hand, leading to this worst auto loan crisis ever?
Well, do I think people will walk away from their auto loans like people walked away from their homes? Not to the same degree, no. And the reason I say that, homes typically ultimately end up appreciating in value. Used cars very rarely ever do. I mean, we lived through a time in 2020, late 2020 and 2021, where we saw great appreciation, but normally you do not. So it's not like you're going to walk away from your car, not be able to afford to get another car. Nobody's going to give you a loan to get another car. The bank can't sit on that car hoping that it's going to appreciate in value before they unload it like they could with a house. So no, I don't. I personally wouldn't foresee people doing that. So, but is it an issue, especially when 20% of all people with negative equity have negative equity in excess of $10,000 on their vehicle? Absolutely, that's an issue. Did we suggest back in 2021 and 2022 that we would be seeing this in to the degree that we are today? Absolutely, we did. We knew that it was impossible for people to pay market adjustments upwards of $5, $10, $15, $20,000 above and beyond the MSRP and not be well upside down shortly after having purchased the vehicle if things ever reverted back to normal. And with new vehicle inventories building up to over 3 million vehicles available now on a monthly basis,
Things are
we
getting
are
back to
reverting
normal.
to normal.
Yeah.
And so all those folks that did what they shouldn't have done, bought at the worst possible time, not normally because of need in many cases, but only because of want in most cases, I suspect.
It's really hard to paint with such a broad brush, because if you got your car totaled and you had to buy a car 2 years ago, whatever.
That's a different story.
But
That's a different story.
the point I'm hearing you make, Dad, if I may, the point I'm hearing you make is a lot of people demonstrated their own irrational exuberance that built up a bubble, and now that bubble is starting to burst. And I hate to use bubble and burst, but how else can you look at this data? And it literally goes back to the mid 1990s. And it shows you that for subprime borrowers, we have the worst auto loan delinquency crisis we've ever had, at the same exact time where we have the highest levels and highest volatility within negative equity that we've ever had. Like, that's a pretty bad and damning 1-2 punch, which sets up a really compelling argument for why the auto industry is screwed, and why, as consumers, you should be thinking the deals are just going to keep getting better. How many customers are taken out of the market in its entirety, Dad, because they can no longer afford to buy a vehicle? Not only could they no longer afford it because the average transaction price of a new car is nearly 50 grand, now they can't afford it because their credit took a hit and they're bringing to the table $10,000 in negative equity. The auto industry has taken millions of potential customers who would have bought vehicles and made them non-buyers because they literally can't afford it or can't get approved now.
Well, that's, and we talked about this at the time, about looking at short-term profits and staring in the face long-term losses because of those short-term profits. Many dealers opted for the short-term profits. Let's rake in all the money we can. Let's take advantage of as many people who will let us. And the hell with when they want to come back 2 years from now or 3 years from now, which they historically like to do, and we won't be able to help them, and we won't be able to get them out of their car loans. That was just short-sightedness on behalf of dealers. And then as dealers were adding market adjustments, manufacturers were seeing what people were actually willing to pay or overpay for the products that they were producing. And the manufacturer said, well, the hell with giving all that money to the dealers. We're just going to start producing more expensive vehicles. So
we're seeing it all happen now. Like, this confluence of events is happening in real time, which, again, the angle I take on it, Dad, is great opportunity for those who have been sitting on the sidelines, because the pain and desperation that this industry is starting to feel is not going to go away in a month. It's not going to go away in a year. This is the ramifications of those short-sighted decisions that yielded insane profits.
Yes.
Insane profits will have an impact, an outsized impact for 5 years, 10 years. Like, there are millions of people who are now going to struggle to participate in this market. And banks enabled a lot of this. And y'all know we've done plenty of videos about banks and loan to value ratios and things like that. So
banks were complicit.
Yeah, banks were 100% complicit.
Yeah, banks were complicit. Manufacturers were complicit. Dealers were complicit. And the buying public was complicit. And as we've seen over the last 3 years, the size of the new car market the number of people actually in it is
Yep.
shrinking instead of expanding. And these are just a couple of the reasons as to why they're shrinking. You know,
Yep.
I spent 43 years doing this nonsense, selling cars, managing dealerships. And for whatever reason, people would come back 2.5, 3 years, 3.5 years into ownership, vehicle ownership, and want to upgrade to a new car. Well, you know, it was doable
Yep.
when average loan lengths were 36 months,
Yep.
48 months. When average loan lengths became 60, 72, 84, as much as 96 months, and people paid $5, $10, $15, $20,000 market adjustments, you add those two things together, and those people who normally wanted to get out at 3 years or 3.5 years are so buried in their vehicle that you have taken hundreds of thousands of potential customers out of your already shrinking market. You have forced these people who normally would want to get a new car and upgrade into the realization that they can't. And that to me was the really short-sighted part of this. I think I think many of the manufacturers are realizing the error of their ways. And what I mean by that, if give me 1 second, what I mean by that is we're starting to see more and more aggressive leases out there. Really some compelling monthly payments to encourage more and more people to finance. And I think the reason the manufacturers are
Yeah.
finally doing it is they realize they've shrunk the market so much that they need to bring back the few who can buy.
Yep.
They need to bring them back every 3 years so they can continue to buy.
You queued me up perfectly, Pops. I wanted to bring up and I wanted to mention an incredible resource our team has pulled together back at CarEdge.com, which is exactly what you are describing. Supply and demand, folks. Demand goes down, supply goes up. That leads to incentives. Everyone, please, I'm asking you to do this. Google search Black Friday car deals or Google search CarEdge space Black Friday car deals. The page is just littered. Trucks, SUVs, EVs, everything. We've built a brand new page on the website. You go under research and you click on, at least I thought it was under here. It's supposed to be under there. We've got that back on
somewhere. Damn it. How'd you get there? I see it.
We've got back on the website. There you go. Top Black Friday deals. So just go under the top navigation, under research, top Black Friday deals, caredge.com/best-deals. This is the accumulation of all of the best deals. And it is the realization from the manufacturers, to your point, Dad, their realization that we have shrunk the market. We've kicked so many people out. So please, folks, go check that out. The link is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Now, Dad, let's come to the chat here for a moment. We had a kind contribution from Rich. Thank you, Rich Diana. Is Ray wearing another Rolex? Told you he was ritzy.
Well, it's not a Rolex. I own one Rolex, which doesn't work, that I gave to Zach many, many years ago. And I'm hoping he still has it. And at some point, maybe we'll send it back to the Rolex factory and they can make it work again. But no, this is a niche brand Corniche, and it is a cheap knockoff of something or another. And, it's just another fine quartz watch that's, I don't know, probably under $300 when I bought it. It's a numbered limited edition. I do have number 5 out of, 249, and my guess is they still have number 6, 7, and 8 in the factory waiting for another moron like me to buy it.
We've got from Click Labs. What do you think about the Kia EV9? My dad and I were looking at some of these Black Friday deals earlier today. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to the Black Friday EV deals. Let me come over here. The Kia EV9 has an insane incentive right now for those that qualify. 0% financing for 72 months. So what do we think of the EV9? I don't know.
If you're in, I will say this: if you are in the market for an EV and you don't want a Tesla, because there are some people out there who do not want a Tesla. In my heart of hearts, I firmly believe that no one is as committed to producing quality EVs as Hyundai Kia is. Okay, they are staking their future on it, and they seem to be doing a good job of it. And I know that their internal combustion engine vehicles have had issues, but these are EVs, so it's a different type of propulsion, and it doesn't involve that type of engine. So I know Justin on our team has had
an
one,
Ioniq 5.
2.5 years, almost 3 years now.
Yep.
It's got over 60,000 miles on it. Hasn't had an issue.
Well, he had one recall, but it wasn't mechanical. It was something with a window, right? But yeah. No, Hyundai, Kia, and electric vehicles, and the lease incentive on that is damn impressive.
Yes,
Too.
I mean,
Dad, can we switch
$379 a month that for 36 months.
Yep. Yeah. Can we switch gears, Dad, and talk about a company who, they're trying to just have as much negative press seemingly as possible?
Is it an American company?
All right. So yesterday we talked on the show about how Stellantis now has a landing page on Automotive News, the industry publication, which again, thank you to Automotive News for featuring CarEdge yesterday on their website and in their print publication. But Automotive News, the industry publication, has a landing page titled Stellantis Job Cuts Keep Mounting, and it's literally just a living page where they are adding the various different job cuts at Stellantis because there are so many and so frequent. Today, Dad, 2 new articles in Automotive News. They're going to have to start a landing page for their partner, Ford here. Yes. Ford, to reduce Bronco production, reassign 400 workers. Ford will cut 14% of its European workforce amid China challenge slow EV sales. Bad things going on for Stellantis. Bad things going on for Ford. These are 2 really not great headlines for the Blue Oval.
No, and the European concern is, in my mind, an even bigger concern, because that's where EVs were selling better than here in the United States. And Ford's having a tough time competing there with the slowdown in EV sales. And 14% of their workforce is over 4,000 people in Europe that are going to lose jobs. And then back here in this country with the Bronco, which was, the hottest thing since sliced bread at one time. Yeah. Well, they're backing up on dealers' lots. And so they have to cut back on production of those vehicles so that they can try and not turn into Stellantis when it comes to like the Dodge Ram and some of the Jeep products that they've had that have way too much inventory. So we are seeing across the entire universe of automobile manufacturers a contraction in their workforces, a contraction in the number of vehicles that they're going to build. And I don't know if you take a broader look at all that, how that fares for the rest of the economy worldwide when you see so much negative.
You know my take on this, Dad. You know my take. I think we angle our work, what you and I do here, less on. Neither of us are economists. Here's what I want to say. Neither my dad and I are economists. We don't know.
Yeah, I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
We're not economists, folks. We get flamed for that all the time. What we do understand is really simple supply and demand. Okay. And so the angle I like to take with this, Dad, rather than prognosticating on what the impact on the global economy will be, because again, I have no effing clue. The thing that I do know is that when I see these headlines, and we talked about it yesterday, the landing pages on Automotive News didn't used to be about job cuts at these automakers. It used to be about vehicle shortages, chip shortages, the number of vehicles not being produced. And what happened then? Pricing power went to the OEM and to the dealer. That's where you saw the consumer get totally screwed. Now, what are we going to see happen? And what are we already seeing happen? The consumer has all the power and all the control. So that's, to me, like, if you want to prognosticate on the macroeconomic impact of private industry and the automotive, like, more power to you. I'm simple. These OEMs getting screwed, these dealers getting screwed. It's the earth healing. It's nature. It's nature healing, man. They took advantage of consumers for 2 years. Now consumers get to take advantage of them for 2 years.
Wow.
That's how I think about it.
Well, I'm glad you think about it like that. And I'm glad you feel secure enough to call your father a simple man.
No, I'm not-
But truth of the matter is, I am a simple man, and using my simple brain, it just says to me that this is a much larger issue than we would like to think it is. I think I don't think it takes much to extrapolate that when some of the world's largest manufacturers are having, and not some of them, when many of the world's largest manufacturers are experiencing the same issue at the same time, that doesn't bode well for most things. Now, whether that turns out to be the case, I don't know, because as I like to say, we bought our crystal ball at the dollar store, and it's always been partly cloudy.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But Dad, our business and what we do has evolved. And what I mean by that is we actually get to look at, I'll pull it up right here. Under research, we've got see what others paid. Like, we can look at all of the recent deals that we've been doing, and we can analyze this. Maybe this is some of the work that I'll do.
Yeah.
Our car buying service, Dad, we see what dealer discounts are every single day. I'm going to ask the team, we'll do an analysis. Have the dealer discounts gotten larger as the year has progressed? Because I bet you when we do that analysis and we normalize some of the data and all that, I bet you they have. I bet you dealer discounts have gotten larger. So I don't even think you need to look at a crystal ball. I think we have the data. The data shows that the market is no longer a seller's market. It's a buyer's market. The buyer has leverage. The buyer has control. And that's good news for consumers. And I don't think every day we come on here and we talk about that, it's not frequent enough, because there's still some customers, not some, most customers, going through this process, spending tens of thousands of dollars, and they have absolutely no clue that they're in control. So I'll look at the data. That's a promise I'll make to the communities. After today's show, later this afternoon, tomorrow, I will look at the data and I will see, have we seen with our car buying concierges an increase in dealer discount today versus a year ago today? I think that'd be a really fascinating analysis.
I think it would, and I think you'll find that the discounts have ticked up. And I would be surprised if they had. I mean, we see the percentage amount of incentives of that it's up to 7.7% of the transaction prices today that are covered by incentives from the manufacturers. And that's up significantly. So, yeah, you're going to see total discounts up quite a bit. Now, we reach, I hate to say this, we reach such a small percentage of the buying public out there that there are still the vast majority of those who are looking at cars that have no idea that they have the leverage, and they still believe that the dealerships have the leverage. So until we can get the message out a lot more than what we have, the vast majority of people are still going to continue to overpay, and they're going to continue to be taken advantage of because they don't have the requisite insights as to what's going on in the industry at the moment. So, as I like to say, applied knowledge is power. Well, if you don't have the knowledge, you can't apply it. So you need to figure out how to get this show viewed by hundreds of millions of more people on a daily basis so that we can help more consumers out there.
Applied knowledge is power. I love that. Dad, earlier in the show from Matthew. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you,
we
Matthew.
appreciate the kind and generous contribution. Ray with the faux Rolex Corniche. Double negative equity. Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
That's special.
We've got a good looking watch. I mean, you know, just between you and me, and I mean,
off the rails we go.
It's not a bad looking watch. I mean, you know, I think it's pretty attractive. You know, for $300 or whatever the hell it was, it's not that expensive. Anyway, I don't know. I just saw it, and like the watch sucker that I am, I bought it. You know, and I really buy into the numbered limited edition that, there's still 242 of these out of the 249 they were going to make sitting on the factory shelves, I'm guessing. But, I got number 5, damn it. One day that might be worth, a penny more than what I paid. I'm good. I'm done. All I want to do is sneeze. Literally, that's all I want to do. It's like, this is terrible. Okay, I'm good now. I'm good. Do your thing.
Joseph says data from Consumer Reports said people should expect to pay over MSRP for an F-150 makes no sense. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't want to slander Consumer Reports. They do great work, but please, get market insights from CarEdge.com. That is definitely the place to get the latest and greatest info. Dad, what's your favorite?
Wait, I need to have a chat with the good folks at Consumer Reports. I am a subscriber, and why they would suggest to anybody in this universe today that they should be paying over MSRP for an F-150 is beyond me. There is we talked about it yesterday. There's too many of them. Okay, you don't pay over MSRP when there's an excess supply. You only pay over you should never pay over MSRP, but if you're foolish enough to do it, you should only do it when there's a lack of supply. And right now, that ain't the case. So Consumer Reports, get your stuff together. Okay, I'm good now.
You are uncontrollable today. It's fantastic. All right, let's go to our favorite segment of the show.
Really? You got to be kidding me.
All right, we're just going to pull it up on the screen, and then I'm going to leave the screen, and we're going to see what happens.
What happens?
You didn't see this? That Jaguar rebranded.
Oh,
yeah. Did you not see this?
No, I haven't seen it.
Jaguar did a rebrand, Dad. Oh my goodness, I just assumed you saw it. You did not see this. Okay, Jaguar did a rebrand, and that's their new logo. How do you feel about it?
Well, there are companies that do smart things and companies that do stupid things. Coke had Coke Original, and then they did Coke something else, and Coke something else didn't quite make it. The Jaguar has had the leapers and the growlers. Those are the hood emblems. That's a leaper. They've had those for forever, and yeah, I get it. It's 2024, ladies and gentlemen. Let's modernize the brand. But that's horrible. I dare say I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either. Interesting to see what Jaguar is doing over there. I guess they're trying to be more hip and cool. And
what they are trying to do is to be ultra luxury. And I guess when they put it into Chat GPT or whatever it is, and they said, "Hey, give us some ultra luxury looking fonts," this is what that AI came up with. And if that doesn't look ultra luxury, damn it, I don't know what does.
All right, Dad, we're going to come back here to the chat for a moment. We've got from Pradeep, Riz Kings. Thank you, Pradeep. We appreciate when we are referred to as Riz Kings. CarEdge Insights member here. However, every time I click a link and load a new page, I become a guest user and have to log in again. Is this the proper functionality, or am I doing something wrong? Definitely not the proper functionality. So let's go to the website and let's do a quick example here. So I'm on CarEdge.com. I'm going to click on login. I'm now logged into my account. If you have CarEdge Insights, my recommendation would be just right down here, click on My Insights. This gives you your Insights Hub. From your Insights Hub, you can actually walk through all the various things that you have access to. And then right here, you can start to use all of them. So this should not log you out. This should keep you in one great place that has everything you need right there to go negotiate and navigate your car deal. So again, I would just go to caredge.com, click on login. Once you're logged in, click on My Insights, and you should be good to go. So Pradeep, thanks for the feedback, but I would give that a try.
May I say one thing? The Insights Hub is kind of like the old Nissan Xterra. It's got everything you need and nothing you don't. Just saying.
And Pradeep, it's not spam whatsoever. Want to make sure that we help you. And again, we have a whole team behind the scenes, help at CarEdge.com to assist. And I will mention that shame on me. I did not bring it up. CarEdge.com/concierge. That's part of our Black Friday promotion for the first time ever in our company's history. We've got $100 off our concierge car buying service. So if you're in the market, that runs between now and the end of the month, take advantage of that back at CarEdge.com/concierge, or just click on buy a car here and then car buying service to learn more. All right, Dad, let's call it a show. We'll be back.
Wait, I have a question for you.
Yep.
I have a question for you. What if this is just a what if. What if somebody said, well, I'd like to save that $100. I'd like to buy the concierge service for $899, but I'm not going to be in the market for a car until May. Can they buy it now and not utilize it till May?
Please don't. I don't feel comfortable holding on to your $900 for 4 months. That makes me feel uneasy. I'd rather you put that $900 to work somehow. Yeah, so please don't. Only purchase our service if you're in the market to buy a car in the next 30 days or so, because I don't know. We're not a bank, folks. We're not a bank.
Okay, I was just asking for anybody that might have had that thought run through their mind.
If you want to gift our products or services to other people, reach out to our team. We can help you with that. We don't have it like on the website, but we can help you. But yeah, I don't know. I just think it makes me feel uncomfy, Dad. It makes me feel a little uneasy. Also, I'll mention,
Yes.
We got called out by another creator. This happens from time to time. So usually we don't name them or anything, and we didn't name them this time. But over on TikTok, I made a Stitch video communicating how happy and excited we are to continue to help our community. So if you're over on TikTok, I would appreciate if you can leave like a happy comment on this video. Just trying to do my best to keep people informed and empowered. And it's really a bummer when we see people take a real negative attitude towards the work that we do. So, share your support. If we've ever been able to help you, share that on social media. It means a lot. There's some people out there that unfortunately, they do great work. They do great work educating and empowering themselves. And I admire and I appreciate that. And for whatever reason, they decide to attack others, which doesn't really make sense to me because it's a massive opportunity to keep helping. Let's just stay positive. But anyway, it's just seeking out some community support on that front. That would be really great.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
You'll have to share this with me offline, as they say.
No, it's nothing to really share. It was, the commentary was around, it really frustrates some people, some creators, when car buying experts who have never worked in the car business provide information. And I'm proud of the fact that I've never sold a car before, and I don't think you need to be a car salesperson to be able to provide information to help level the playing field. And I feel really proud of the information that we share. It was my video that I was talking about asking the dealer for floor plan costs, and I received a lot of heat for that because people said it was too technical, it was too in the weeds, and I felt really confused by that, Dad, because why would we make a justification that people shouldn't understand something because it's too technical? That's assuming people are too dumb to understand something that's technical. I don't look at anyone and assume that they're too dumb or incompetent to understand something that's too technical. I look at that as an opportunity to pull the curtain back even further. So I hate, this is actually what really pisses me off. I hate when people make decisions on other people's behalves for how capable they are. Just pull the curtain back all the way. Be fully transparent. So people that got pissed off that I talked about floor plan costs, I'm sorry. I think your mental model around how capable you think other people are to make their own decisions is really small, and you should think bigger picture and give people the information. Really frustrates me.
Well, I'm glad you're bringing the passion, buddy. I like to see that. You should do that more often.
Been doing it for 5 years, man. I'm trying over here.
Yeah, but call some folks out when you need to.
That's not in my MO. You know me.
I know.
You raised me. It's not in me to call people out by name or to pick fights. I hate that. I hate it. Like, what's the point? There's no positive outcome in fighting. When we've been called out here on YouTube, we never acknowledged it. We never because
my belief has always been, when there are those out there who want to take shots at us, and there are those that do, well, we never take shots back, because it's like, who are they and who cares?
Yeah.
They can do them. We'll do us. We'll be true to what it is we do. If people find value in what it is that we do, then we will continue to grow. If they don't, then we will wither away and die. But it makes no sense to me to go out and beat up other information providers out there. So
who I want to be very clear, do a great job. Like, they speak to a different audience. They communicate information. Do I think they could go deeper and more technical? Sure.
I
do a great job.
I had a conversation with Brandon from Car Questions Answered yesterday, and I know a lot of people just see us as YouTubers and we provide information like this, but I figure in my heart of hearts that our mission's bigger than that.
These comments are fantastic, by the way. Zach challenged that to do an Ironman race.
My point was going to be that we don't want to just disrupt how people buy cars. We want to disrupt how owners think about selling cars through their dealerships. Our goal ultimately is to change the way it all happens, to be able to provide dealer principals with enough reasons and rationale as to why it makes more sense to sell cars in a more transparent manner than a less transparent manner. We did a survey, and we found that it was like 86% of our customers had a good experience buying a car. And we attributed that to that they were better informed. So the more informed customers are, the better the experiences it is at the dealership. The better experience that people have at a dealership, the greater the likelihood that they'll do business at that dealership again, or recommend others to do business there. That is decidedly different than the way the vast majority of dealerships operate. And so ours is a much bigger picture than just providing knowledge and information and YouTube videos.
It's not either or. It's yes and. It's we do what we do, and we're trying to have a big impact. And at its core, the thing that frustrates me is this: gatekeeping information. I subscribe to the mindset, those of you that have been around me and my dad for the past 5 years, gatekeeping information, thinking that you cannot take the information in. This is one of the first blog posts we ever wrote. Glossary of terms, CarEdge. I'm Googling. I'll pull this up on the screen. I encourage everyone to Google search glossary of terms space CarEdge. We wrote this glossary of terms. This is one of the first ones my dad and I ever did. It's pretty freaking dense. And we not only have one for car buying glossary of terms, okay? We also have one for the F&I office, which is like even more specific and kind of crazy. So like, I don't know. There's no gatekeeping. There's no Jane Doe can't, Jane Doe's not smart enough to understand this. Like, wow, look at this from Jennifer. Jennifer, I remember you, Jennifer. Kind of pains me to say this now, but you are our first ever customer. Jennifer, you are our first ever paying customer. Wow. Zach negotiated a deal for us in 2020, and we are using the concierge service again now for our next vehicle. Thank you for all this. Jennifer, I am having goosebumps right now because I did your deal. I had no clue what I was doing. This was our first ever one. I did it for my sister's apartment. That is wild. That is wild. That is absolutely wild. Thank you.
And if
Jennifer.
you wanted to today, you could actually do it from your own damn apartment.
My own apartment. Yeah, I had no clue what I was doing. I had to learn it all. My dad literally sat with me as I was trying to do this first deal. Wow. Jennifer, you're back. That's so cool.
Yeah. So
I'm like really tempted to open up my email inbox right now and show everyone. That was literally our first ever car deal. If I'm not mistaken, Jennifer, you live in Virginia. I remember doing this. Okay. Anyway, Unknown wants to know what happened to the email scripts. Just Google search email scripts CarEdge and it'll pop right up. All right, we got to call a show. We'll be back.
You've got other things to do. Yeah.
So do you. You've got a sneeze to go take. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you to everyone that supports us. We appreciate it. We'll be back then. And if we can help you out, caredge.com. Love you, Dad.
Love you too, handsome. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
See ya.